So going last, before a now deferred meal, is always a challenge, because you're always fighting with whatever is going on inside, and you have to overcome that and somehow make sure that you're sating a particular part of the intellect so that whatever the grumblings are down here actually don't drown out what's going on up here. So I decided that the place we ought to start is why I didn't want to come to this conference. Because you should start with your objections. If you start with your objections, people actually understand a bit more of why you're standing here and what it was that actually wound up putting you here. And I want to start by saying that if you take nothing else away from my presentation today, I hope you take away one gift I'm asking of you. And that gift is never to use the word free again. Never use the word free again.
Why?
Free isn't. Free isn't. Free is a proxy for our calcification of our consciousness that fails to articulate the contributions that are actually contributing unseen to what we all are. There is no free. There is, in fact, synthesis, there is integration, there is accountability, but there is no free. And the illusion of free, which was born, oddly enough, in the 13th century, as a cover story for the manipulation of everything from religion to politics to economics, continues to be the fulcrum around which battles are fought and ultimately lost. We should embrace the grand expense of the privilege of our life. The expense that starts with the mystery of how we show up. The expense that starts with the air that we first breathe. The expense of that beautiful gift called the synthesis of our being. None of which was free. It all came at a cost. And the minute we forget a single moment of any of those costs, we start building the cancer of the illusion that ultimately serves to enslave us. How do we move from a quantum space that has been persistently enslaved from Edison through Einstein and move into a space where everyone actually understands themselves not as a consumer and a producer, but as an integrated whole in a system which actually builds what I like to refer to as our common wealth. Now, why didn't I want to come here? I didn't want to come here because you know what I'm sick of? I'm sick of people talking about free energy. And I'm sick and tired of people talking about free energy for a very simple reason. Beyond the fact that it's not free, and it never will be free, because I don't think any of us are in the business right now of actually having the audacity of saying that we were around for gravity, we were around for magnetism, we were around for water, we were around for Toyota fields, we were around for all of these things. We weren't. But what we need to do is understand that by believing in a world where we have to argue for the emancipation of electricity, we're passing over our own slavery. We're saying, take the manacles off my wrists, but leave them on my ankles. What do I mean? Well, what I mean is the following. We burn fossil fuels, we enrich and decay uranium, we do all sorts of things to allegedly harvest and harness power, which we then do the exact opposite of, where we push through resistive coils, we try to create magnetic fields, we try to do all of those things to achieve what? The moral imperative of humanity. We have to light, we have to cool, we have to heat, we have to communicate, and we have to transport. And inconveniently, prior to Edison, we didn't do any of these things, right?
No.
We didn't have economies, right? We we had no utilities, right? We didn't have any of those things, right? None of those existed before we had 60 hertz, right? Nonsense! Nonsense! Why don't we have as many electric-less refrigerators out there? Why don't we have as many electric-less data storage systems out there? Why don't you have my algae data storage, which I created through a linguistic genomics exercise we did back in the 1980s and early 1990s, which actually had a petabyte of storage which could self-replicate in algae with no external power source other than the sun? Why don't we have that? Oh, we don't have that because this is what we actually like. We like a world that runs at 188.6% negative efficiency so that we can plug something into a freaking wall socket. Let's review. We dig a hole in the ground, and that hole in the ground actually runs, after we've dug the hole, at an 8% inefficiency. We actually lose 8% efficiency merely by the fluid dynamics of a pump, and that's a pump fully operational. So we lose 8% of our energy just to get the damn stuff out of the ground. And then we refine it. The best refiners in the world have an 86.4% efficiency, which means now we're up to minus 21.6. And then we haul it. We haul it with ships, and we haul it with trucks, and we haul it with rail, and we haul it with all kinds of other things. Now we're at minus 34.6% efficiency, and then we decide to burn it. Screw the earth, screw the environment, screw the air, screw future generations. We burn it to do what? Boil water, which gives us, at best, a cogeneration efficiency of 43%. We are now at 91.6% inefficient, and then we decide to push it into copper high tension lines. Oh, that's real brilliant, isn't it? Yeah, I got an idea. Let's take 60 hertz that we got from burning something, let's put it into DC transmission lines, let's shove it across our landscape, and oh, by the way, lose another 7% if we only have a kilometer to go, and if we have more than that to go, we're really effed. Because if we have to go more than a kilometer, that drops off. So guess what? In the best of worlds where you live right next to the power plant, the best of worlds, you live right next to the power plant, your luckiest day, you're now at minus 98.6% efficient. And by the way, it's not even in your home yet. Because then you put it in to your freaking utility substation, which on the best of days operates giving you a 60% utility efficiency, and then you put it in your refrigerator to actually get 188.6% loss of energy, and that, by the way, is an unconsidered cost by anybody who talks about free energy. Why do I want to be a part of this grid? Why? Even if I'm free, I have to over-generate 200% just so I can have a cold Coke made with hydrogenated God knows what, and corn syrup, and God knows what else Monsanto's trying to poison me with, so I can die faster, but man, does it taste good. That's what we want? That, by the way, is the reason why I didn't want to come here. Nonsense about free energy. Pick the right fight. Pick the right fight. Guess who controls the not free energy? Oddly enough, people who actually are making money on what you see right here. By the way, you were supposed to hear about politics. You are hearing about politics. This is the reason why the political system that you call the political system actually is. The political system that we have is not politics. It is a corporate cover-up funded by billions of dollars and billions of euros of people who want you to believe that this is the best we can do. Obama is as corrupt as Romney.
Bravissimo!
And by the way, I can go across every part of the Greens and the EFAs and the pirate parties and the Christian Democrats and the Communist Democrats and the God knows how many other Democrats you have in the EU. I can go across all of them, and they're all drinking this Kool-Aid, and they're serving it to you out of your refrigerators that are running at a minus 188.6 efficiency. And nobody is talking about it. That pisses me off.
You talk about it.
You are not nobody.
Oh, I am nobody officially. Here's why. Let me tell you something. 60 hertz. What is it about 60 hertz that's such a damn fine, like heroin or opium or whatever it is that we like to get a hit on? What is it about 60 hertz? Why is it 60 hertz?
Keep you stupid.
Yeah, it actually does. I did functional MRI studies in 1989, 1990, and 1991. You know what we found out? The more you're exposed with fMRI to 60 hertz, the more you actually have suppression of neurologic function. You know why some people actually have a hard time walking into a Walmart? Because their brain actually hurts. You know why a lot of people still walk into Walmarts? Because they've been anesthetized. 60 hertz is a phenomenal frequency. Because if you get over it hurting, you get numb. And when you get numb, you can get anything sold to you. Like a damn smiley face that somebody puts on your jacket. Or a damn smiley face that somebody puts on your shirt when you walk into a store where you're going to buy shit that you don't need. But you're going to be happy about it because somebody put a smiley face on your shirt. It's a hypnosis, people. It's a hypnosis. You have to break the hypnosis. If you actually want to understand politics, you want to understand the economics, you have to understand that you are hypnotized, and you are hypnotized by something that happens to work. And, lo and behold, it doesn't just work in a little bit of a way, it works in a really big way. But we could all say, well, you know what, I don't know what the problem is because, after all, I'm actually tweeting about free energy on my iPad that's connected to my battery that I got, a lithium battery that's the extended life battery, and it's all running on this great thing called copper. And let me tell you a little bit about copper. Copper actually was an accident. If you go back in history, go back 3,000 years, copper was actually used from time to time. It was primarily used, by the way, for its antimicrobial properties. Very early on, the reason why Ayurvedic cultures, a lot of other cultures use copper, a lot of the Mesopotamian cultures use copper, a lot of them use copper as a way to sterilize water before they drank it. It's actually